Hi, friends. This is Sue at A Call to Create. And recently, when I was doing a flip through of my autumn journal, one of my newer subscribers, Laura, asked if I would do a video showing how to make snippet rolls. I had shown one in my journal. Now, if you've been around for a while, you know that there are a million videos out there on snippet rolls. But if you're newer, you may not know, how to go about making one. And since I was planning on doing some more Christmas themed snippet rolls, I thought, okay, well, I'll give it a shot. Also, you may know if you've been around my channel for a while, I mostly do flip throughs rather than process videos. So I'm not real comfortable doing that, but she asked, and so I aim to please. So I'll give it a shot. These are some of the snippet rolls that I've made that I have on hand. The thing that I like about snippet rolls is that you can make them for any style that you want. If you're into shabby chic, you can use the things that would go with that. If you strictly have an antique look, you can do that. Colorful and eclectic. You can even take your art scraps and make a snippet roll out of those. And also, they can be in any theme that you want. If you were making a travel journal, you might want to put little bits of map on there, or bits that you've collected on your travels. If you were doing a holiday theme like this one, I'm doing Christmas, but you could also do it for Valentine's Day, Halloween, any of the holidays, just using little bits that, from your stash that go along with that. If you're doing a seasonal journal, like I was doing autumn, you could just have autumn kinds of colors. If you were doing something with a particular theme like circus, maybe you're making a circus journal to sell, make a snippet roll with just circus items, or a sewing theme. Whatever your theme is, you can make a snippet roll using things with those various themes. So I'm going to get this out of the way and kind of talk a little bit about, before I get started on making my Christmas snippet roll, I just wanted to talk a little bit about, for new people who might not know, things that you can use for the base of your snippet roll. So if you have something like this, this is always good. Let's see, this would be 1.75 inches, which is a perfect size. And the other thing is you can make these as wide or as narrow as you want. You can make them to use horizontally or vertically. This is some gummed packing tape. So if you wanted to use this side to layer things on, and then when you're ready to use this, you could just wet this side and then glue it into your journal or whatever. Vellum tracing paper. I like to use tracing paper and leave a little bit of room. And here's what you can do. Just cut it to the width that you want, and then just keep adding more and more by gluing the strips together. And but I like to leave a little empty space on the vellum so that you can kind of see through to the paper underneath. But you can also just fill up the whole paper, and if that's your preference. You can even use copy paper, lightweight scrap paper. Maybe you have some scrap paper and you don't like the look of it. You're never going to use that ugly sheet for anything. Cover it up and with other scraps. Or if you want, if maybe it's a Christmas themed paper and you want a little bit of that poking through, that would be a good base as well. Book pages, cut them in strips and glue them together to make it as long as you want. Ribbon, if you have some wide ribbon, you might want to use that. Some people use fabric or lace and glue things on to that. If you're going to glue things onto fabric, you might want to use Fabri-Tac to make sure everything stays down. Even a paper grocery bag. So just, it could be anything. So what are you going to need? Well, what I usually start with are some scraps of neutral things. So I have music paper, little bits, text, different kinds of text. Here's some more music, dictionary pages, just little scraps that I have. This is from an atlas. If you have something like I found this that had red printing, which I thought would be good for the Christmas journal. Little paper bag, graph paper, tea dyed or coffee dyed papers. Those are all good. Then if you have some painty papers, if you don't have any painty papers, make some. Take a book page, and this is all I did here was take a marker and go over it with red and green. And I took a little circle and put it on my stamp pad and made some circles. If you have any kind of stamps, you can do that. Just make some paper. If you don't, if you have art fodder that you've made on a gel plate or something, you can use that. Maybe you've made, this was paper I made with, I just dyed it. I think I might have used food coloring on that. I'm not sure. But I have a little scrap of that. If you don't have anything, you just make your own. Take a pen and make various things. Take a marker, draw on a paper bag. Whatever you might have in your stash, painty papers. So these are some here. And another thing would be the inside of envelopes. And by the way, this could go in the neutral section. So envelopes. The inside of security envelopes make nice little bits that you can put in. I especially like these. We get something from the Salvation Army, and those are always in red, the return envelopes, so those are cool. This was just something I made with a rubber stamp that was a background stamp for Halloween, a little cheesecloth. So I just stamped that on there, and that gives an interesting background as well. Tissue papers, vellum, things like that. Here's a little vellum, just some little tissue paper. Sometimes you get these in, we have a store up in Door County that we visit called the Tannenbaum, and they always, whenever you buy something, they wrap your item in tissue paper like this. So I always like to use that at Christmas. Some time back, I bought some paper that was meant to, like if you're giving someone a gift of baked goods, then you might want to line a little box with paper, and this is what it looked like. So I use that sometimes with my Christmas journals. But whatever you have, napkins, that's another good thing. Gift wrap, I'm not using gift wrap today, but if I don't have much in the way of, well, I guess I could find some. I could always find some. But paper doilies, little scraps like that you could tack on. If you have lace and you want to use that. Scrapbook paper, little bits. So you want to just find little bits of scrapbook paper that you think might work. This is a great way to use up your scraps. So since I'm doing Christmas, I just went through and found some things. Even magazines. This is from a magazine. So that's another thing that you can use. And if you have specialty papers, maybe you have glitter paper that you might want to maybe make some punches and use those. So I like to separate them and get them all ready to go. And then, and I work in layers like that as well. So anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. But the next thing is all those little interesting bits. So, sorry for the shadow here. If you buy digitals, you might want to use those. If you have ephemera kits, like something Tim Holtz would have, or I have a lot of those in here. I bought a little packet one time with, they have little things like this in there. So go through and just pull out all the small ones. Tickets. Here's one. December the 25th is Christmas, so I pulled these out to use. You don't have to buy things. Sometimes you get these things in the mail from here, something like this. Address labels. They have your return address on there, and they give those to you, Salvation Army or whoever. They send you these in the mail. So, you could just cut those off and use those little bits. So, stamped images. Maybe you have Christmas stamp sets and you'd like to just stamp some of those on paper, tea-dyed paper, white paper, whatever you want. Little bits of ribbon or lace. Maybe you have some punches and you want to punch out some items. We can also use, maybe want to put some buttons on at some point, probably at the end. And of course, if you're going to sew, you don't want to put buttons on until after you've put this through the sewing machine. But these would all go on at the end. Maybe have some paper flowers like this. Washi tape. Oh, I have tons of Christmas washi tape. So just, pull out whatever you have. Postage stamps. I have just a whole bag full of Christmas postage stamps. So I have that handy. Labels. Back to here I have, just whatever's green, whatever's red, whatever you have that you think might work. So I have labels like these in there. Words. I don't have any words really handy at the moment. I might come back at the end and kind of think about that. But stickers, if you have in your stash. Here's some ribbon, and I don't know if I'll use any of this, but yeah, and then, if you have digitals, like this was a digital that I purchased from Paper Pippy, and so I cut some of these out to put in my little bits, these little milk tabs that you'd find. Even things you get in the mail, like I get these notepads in the mail all the time. You might cut out something like that, have them ready. So you don't have to buy things. You can find them in magazines, catalogs. These would be something else that you could put on at the end, not something you'd want to do if you're going to sew. So that would be everything that you would need to get started on this project. What I did in the interest of time is I began making my strip. I just put 2 strips together, and I started with the layer of neutrals. So just kind of spread them out, and there goes all my washi tape all over the floor. All right. So I think I would leave these bits for now, and I've done this, so I'll put that aside. I might go in and start working on some of these little colorful scraps. Not sure how many of these I'll use, but basically I just do a little, rip and tear. And now you can make these big. Some people make real big pieces, so I might prefer to make them a little smaller, put them here and there. I don't know how many of these I will use. I like to get an interesting combination here and there. I like these, let's see, put a little green there, maybe a little red up here, and maybe a little gold. I like to keep them small. Layer as much as you want. Oh, that doesn't want to tear. There we go. You're not going to use up tons and tons of your scraps this way. You need some other projects for that if you're just trying to get away with using up scraps. You're going to need a bigger project for that, but it helps get rid of some. Like some of these trees. So I guess that I would start gluing on some of these at this point. I'm going to use a glue stick, if I can find it in this mess. All right, I guess I'm gonna grab a new glue stick because my old one is buried somewhere under all of this mess. So here we go. I'm really getting in the mood for Christmas. Thanksgiving hasn't even happened yet, but I am ready for Christmas. Been watching some of those cheesy Hallmark Christmas movies, and don't normally do any of that, but my husband and I have kind of gotten hooked a little bit on that. So they're getting me in the mood. Definitely getting me in the mood. And I've even started some of my Christmas shopping. Amazon had Black Friday going this week, so I ordered a few things. I do not buy a lot of gifts. I give money to my kids for the grandkids, and they usually will pick out what they know the kids want. I do Christmas stockings, and I do ask for suggestions because it's hard to know when you're not with the kids all the time what they like, what they're into these days. So I get suggestions, and I enjoy shopping for those things. So I've gotten some of the things online already on Amazon. How convenient is that, right? Just have it delivered. Today is Sunday, and they delivered to my door this morning between 4 and 8, even though I just placed the order yesterday. So that's pretty cool. So anyway, this goes pretty fast. Pattern paper, from if you buy dress patterns, anything like that. Those are nice things. You can kind of see through to the layer beneath. And, some people might want to just keep within the confines of the paper, and others wouldn't care. They'd like a little bit spilling over the side. So whatever you want, whatever makes you happy, just go ahead and do that. Put as much or as little on as you want. Overlap. See what you like. Yeah, I don't know. Process videos. I'm not too good at that. It's just kind of, I always feel like, well, got to keep the conversation going, but, you know, I always feel like if I'm watching a video and, yeah, this is just tedious, you're doing the same thing over and over, then, you know, skip ahead a little bit. I think everybody kind of does that. All right, so I think that's enough of that kind of paper. And now I'm going to throw a little bit of scrap paper here and there. And I'm not real good about, you know, worrying if it's sticking down enough. Now, sometimes I will do a random stitch all over. And sometimes I'll just go down the two sides and do a little zigzag. But I think you will find some of this will stick up a little bit. You can always go back at a later date and kind of glue things down a little better. If you find they're not sticking, then maybe use some heavier glue, maybe a little art glitter glue. This one I wanted to, this is kind of a Merry Christmas, so I wanted to cut that one out a little bit. Another thing that you can do is, if you wanted to, you could go in with your Distress inks and ink up the sides. A lot of people like to have that look. So it's up to you. Everybody can just do their own, do as much or as little as you want. And you might want to consider how you're going to use these. So if you're going to use them vertically on a page, then you might want to orient the items that you're using in a vertical way. If you think you might want to use them horizontally, then, you know, or just if you want to use them however you want, just angle them in different directions as you go along. And then you don't have to worry about it. So there we go. All right. I'm just sticking them in any old place. All right, now for the bits that make it interesting. So, let's see. Well, there's this nice December. That might be a little big. Let's put in this 25 cents because December, Christmas is on the 25th. Might want to put a little S&H green stamp, duo. I have a lot of these little circles that I think I bought a digital. I can't remember who I bought it from, but there were a lot of these little tiny circular items, and these are perfect for something like this. So I'll throw a few of those on. But you know, you can find these in magazines, books. I do want to leave a little vellum showing from time to time. Put another one of these in. Down this way. Okay, maybe a flashcard. Believe. Get that in there. That looks nice. Let's Let's see what else. This is from a digital. I've been going through my Christmas stash. I've got 3 of those big scrapbook containers, you know. Oh my gosh, so much. I want to pull out things to use in my Christmas journal that to have in a basket, you know, but there's just way too much to put in a basket. I'm going to need about 5 baskets, I think. So I'll have to really discriminate what I'm going to use. That's a cute one too, but I already have I don't want to get too many 25s in there. I bought, quite some time ago, I bought these antique seals that you'd put on packages. Oh gee, I should have taken a clean page. Oh well, it'll work. So yeah, it's a fun thing to do these. They go pretty quickly, and I already have one there. Let's try this over here. I might stamp a word on there eventually. Here's a little something. I think pretty much anywhere you put these things, it's going to look nice. I think that's enough to give you the idea for now, and I'm just going to move all this out of the way because they're all starting to stick to my fingers. So if you have washi tape, you could put that on at this point. So another thing that I like to do then, oh yeah, let me see if I can fish out some postage stamps. That might look nice on there. Christmas, there's Peace on Earth. There's a little mistletoe. Yeah, there's a Santa. I'll just put a couple of these on some more. I'll put the Santa on. You can just get as crazy as you want with these. I mean, just overload it, fill up every little space, or, you know, leave it kind of plain. Running out of places to put these things, but never fear. There's always room for a little bit more. All right, now, if I can find, yeah, here it is. I have a little stamp that has cursive writing. I don't think it actually says anything. It's just made to look like some kind of script. But I like to put a little bit of that on as I'm finishing up. So let me see. You could put any kind of stamp on here if you wanted to put some kind of you know, any little Christmas stamp, like an ornament or something that you might have. But I do like the script, especially I do try to kind of go over maybe any blank areas of vellum and kind of finish it off that way. But yeah, so Now, I am going to sew, let me put a little more on in this area. I plan on sewing down the edges of these. And, you know, I only wanted to do so much. So I could go on and make a bigger strip here that I could roll up. But for Christmas, this is just for my own journal. And so I'm not going to be overdoing it with the snippet roll. But at this point, I think I would come back and do a little zigzag on both sides. You don't have to do that if you don't have a sewing machine, no worries. But then I'll probably come back and throw a few of these little flowers on, maybe a gem or two. And in fact, I probably could do that on this one that I already made. Just, yeah, you know, little something like that. Some white ones here and there. The little gems, that kind of adds the finishing touch to it. And I really think the zigzag really dresses it up quite a bit. Another thing is, look through books. This is from a book that I pulled apart and, you know, just pulled out Merry Christmas. If you have, maybe you have a little drawer that has text in it. Or just look, if you have a little Christmas book, you'll find things that you can put in there. Believe, yeah, like a little flashcard, something like that. Then I'm going to show you some ways that you can use these things in the journal. But I will do that in just a minute. All right. And you can do a little screenshot of some things here. So ways to use these snippet rolls in your journal. So I like to use them. My favorite way is just to use them as belly bands. So if you glue them, obviously you probably wouldn't have a journal this long, but let's say you just cut that off wherever you want, glue it at the top and the bottom, and then you can just put something inside that maybe a journaling card of some kind. Now this has sort of a vertical arrangement here. The words and a lot of the things that I used were vertical, but the other one that I made could go in a lot of directions. So maybe, you know, a belly band that goes horizontally. You could glue it as a page edging, have it stick out a little bit from your page. Maybe you want to use it as a cluster. If you cut some of it off and just add some other things to it, or if you're using a wider strip, that might make a good cluster base. Pockets. So if you were going to put this on your, let's say, a journaling page, you could glue it at the top and along the edge and at the bottom, and then tuck something inside as a pocket. Or you could do that again at the bottom and use it as a pocket there. It might be better if you had something a little wider if you're going to use it as a pocket. You could use it as a corner tuck. I would make it a little bit bigger if I was going to use it as a corner tuck spot. And you could even fold it over the top of a page in your journal. And you could have a little sticking up or not. And then, just glue it down. Or it could become a tuck spot that way as well. So and you can, I'm sure, think of a lot of other ways of using this in your journal. So, Laura, I hope that was helpful, and anyone else who might have wanted to just come along for the ride. And I will see you next time. And till then, take care.